They thought it was mercy, then realized the predator was now a human's pet. The last time someone entered the Grelvax expanse, they didn't come back. The Coalition called it a red zone, hostile, uncolonizable, crawling with life forms so deadly that even the Krogan war beasts turned and fled. Entire squads had vanished. Drones got shredded. Satellites blinked out. Every species agreed the planet was a death trap. And yet, a human volunteered to go in. Not with an army. Not with backup. Just a single man in a light scout suit, carrying a medkit, a knife, and what the Coalition referred to as that ridiculous optimism of theirs. His name was Darren Holt, an ex-ranger from Earth's Siberian territories. Tough. Quiet. The kind of guy who didn't flinch when wolves stalked his cabin or when frostbite blackened his fingertips. "Why are you doing this?" an insectoid diplomat asked him as he stepped onto the shuttle ramp. Darren gave a simple answer. "Because no one else came back. That just makes me curious." He vanished into the mist of Grelvax Prime. Comms went dead, and the Coalition marked his name on the missing list. Then, 3 weeks later, he walked back out, covered in mud, beard longer, armor scorched, and behind him walked the monster. Not just a monster. The monster. The Grelvaxi apex predator, 20 feet of muscle, bone, claws, and wrath. The Coalition had once watched one of them split a tank like a melon. Its hide was bulletproof. Its scent triggered fear responses in over 85 species. The creature didn't communicate. It didn't negotiate. It hunted. Always. Until now. Because now, it was trotting beside Darren Holt like a loyal canine, tail flicking calmly, growling only when someone moved too fast. The reception team froze. Weapons rose. Panic sparked. But Darren just lifted a hand. "Don't." What is that?" someone managed to say. "I call him Butch." "Butch?" "Yeah. He likes belly rubs and grilled meat." They thought he was joking, until the creature rolled onto its side, exposing a stomach scarred from battles and covered in dried blood. Darren gave it a few firm pats. The creature purred, a low rumble that made the walls vibrate. Within hours, the Coalition leadership demanded answers. Darren was brought to a council chamber flanked by guards and diplomats from 30 species. "You tamed it?" a general asked, baffled. "No," Darren replied. "He just stopped trying to kill me." "That doesn't happen," a Lothari elder hissed. "Grelvaxi are unbondable. They eat anything that breathes." "Sure, but they're not stupid," Darren said. "I was wounded. Didn't run. Didn't fight. Just kept building fires and patching myself up." He watched. Eventually started leaving meat nearby. I think he respected the fact that I wasn't prey. The chamber fell silent. A predator that respected a human chose to follow one. "How many did you kill to survive?" another asked. Darren shrugged. "None. Didn't need to. Butch did the killing." The alien representatives exchanged terrified looks. "You named it." "Yeah, it seemed right." "You name friends." "Friends." Darren leaned forward. "Look, you people think in tech. In domination. Neural leashes, biohacks, collars. But some creatures don't respond to fear. They respond to presence. To intention. I didn't threaten Butch. I didn't run. I didn't judge him. I just existed. And I guess he liked that. This could destabilize ecosystems," one barked. "If you bring a predator like that off-world." "He already left the planet with me," Darren said. "That ship sailed." "But why didn't it kill you?" someone whispered. That question hung in the air. Darren glanced at the creature curled up beside his chair. It was dozing, fangs peeking out of its enormous jaw, chest rising and falling slowly. For a moment, it looked like an overgrown puppy. "I don't know why," Darren said. "But maybe, just maybe, the real monsters aren't the ones you fear. Maybe they're just tired of being alone." That line hit like a plasma shell. For centuries, the Coalition had feared humans. Not because they were the strongest, but because they were the weirdest. Where others saw danger, humans saw opportunity. Where others fled, humans explored. And now, one had walked into the jaws of death and walked out with it leashed by loyalty. They called it mercy when they let Darren go into that jungle. Assumed he'd die quietly and give them data. What they didn't realize was, mercy is a human's weapon. And sometimes, they make friends with the things that kill. In the days that followed, things got stranger. Butch began recognizing faces, growling at diplomats with hostile intent, nuzzling scientists who brought him gifts. When one technician screamed at Darren during a diagnostics test, Butch leapt across the room and pinned him gently to the floor, unhurt, but marked. The message was clear. You threaten my human, you answer to me. Security demanded the creature be contained. Darren refused. You think a cage would hold him? He asked, arms crossed. He obeys you, they said. No. He respects me. Big difference. The coalition issued orders. Darren ignored them. Then someone sent assassins. Silent, professional, deadly. They didn't make it past the airlock. Security footage showed a blur of teeth, claws, and screams. Only one body was ever recovered. That's when they realized the terrifying truth. The Grelvaxi wasn't a pet. It was a guardian, a partner. And worse, it had chosen Darren. You see, evolution on Grelvax favored only the cruelest, the smartest, the ones who could learn. And Butch had learned from a human. Now he was protecting one, adapting to off-world conditions, responding to language, following command patterns. Not obedience, cooperation. By the end of the month, Butch had stopped sleeping outside. He curled beside Darren's bunk, ate cooked food, understood a dozen vocal cues. He didn't wear a collar. He didn't need one. He'd chosen his pack. Word spread. Other soldiers tried to copy Darren's method. Most failed. One tried to drag a juvenile predator back. Got shredded. But one woman, Sergeant Ava Lynn, went in with no weapons, just a journal and some dried fish. She came back with a second Grelvaxi. Smaller, younger, less scarred. It licked her hand and followed her home. That was the turning point. Not one, but two of them. The coalition tried to ban further expeditions. But humans didn't care. Curiosity beat fear. Within a year, 5 Grelvaxi were seen walking alongside Earth's elite units, each bonded to a specific human. No chains, no tricks, just choice. Now, every time the coalition saw a human strike team land on a planet, they didn't just fear the men and women in exosuits. They feared the shadows beside them, the claws, the teeth, the monsters who purred when scratched behind the ears. The joke started circulating in bars and stations. Don't shoot the human. You might survive that, but you won't survive what's hiding behind them. Darren never sought fame. He spent his days training rangers, teaching respect over dominance, and occasionally cooking Butch scrambled eggs. The creature snored like a freight train and had a weird obsession with jazz music. But once, during a high-level peace summit, a Zarn dignitary mocked humans for domesticating a demon. Darren didn't answer. He just whistled. From the shadows stepped Butch, slow and silent. He looked at the alien for a long moment, exhaled hot breath through nostrils the size of grapefruits, and curled around Darren like a living fortress. The Zarn didn't speak again. They had thought it was mercy, sending Darren into that jungle. But it wasn't mercy. It was evolution. And evolution, it seemed, had just taken a step forward, hand in paw.